Hello everyone. Welcome to a math lesson that I have planned for you. Today we're going to be looking at types of measurements. So yesterday we learned about the measurement of temperature, and today we're actually measuring things using a different type of measurement. We are going to be finding out how much something can hold, like how much water can fit in this container, and how heavy objects are. The way that we're going to be measuring them is with a new type of unit. We usually measure things in the past with cups or gallons or inch rulers and Fahrenheit. Those are the things that we've learned in the past. But today we're going to be looking at a unit of measurement called a liter, and then a unit of measurement called a gram. So first off, we're going to start with the liter. This container right here is 1 liter. If you look right here on my container, it says 1 liter. Now 1 liter is exactly this much water in this container. And we're going to look at how much this water is when we pour it out into other containers. So I have 4 glasses right here, and we're going to see how much water this container, this liter of water, will fill up into each of these glasses. Okay, I don't know if you can see them all. So how many do you think they will fill? This amount of water, I'll hold up about 1 cup compared to this. Do you think it'll fill 2? Do you think it'll fill more than 4? What's your guess? Make a hypothesis. This much water in this type of cup. Okay? I'm going to start to pour. So here is 1 cup. That's 1 cup of drinking water. Now let's see where we're at. Ooh, that didn't go down very far, did it? So our liter is getting smaller. It's not a liter anymore. It's less than a liter. Let's do another cup of water. 2 people can have a drink of water. What do you think, guys? Let me try to put that at a flat surface. Can you still see that? It kind of looks almost halfway, doesn't it? Let's fill up another one. There's our 3rd cup of water. Whoa! This might fit 4 exactly. Let's see. Whoa! A little bit more than 4. So we can make a conclusion. This is empty, basically. That 1 liter can fill a little bit more than 4 cups of water. These are about equal amounts, and this one has a little bit more than a cup of water in it. So 1 liter is about the same as 4 cups of water. If I flip this around, you can see that, because on this side of the same 1 liter container, it has measurements in cups on the other side. See? 1 cup, 2 cup, 3 cup, 4 cups. It goes all the way up to 4.5 cups. But our water was filled to about 4 cups, or a little bit over it. So I'm going to dump all these back in my liter container. And we're going to compare a liter to a gallon. I have a container out here that is, whoops, I'm splashing my camera, that is a little bit less than a gallon. Here we go. Do you guys think that this liter will fill up the whole gallon? Yes or no? Let's put them side by side so you can see approximately how much they are. Now this is a little bit fatter than this one. So where do you think it'll fall? Do you think it'll go all the way up to the top, halfway, way down to here? Make a guess. I'm going to fill it up, and then hopefully I can show you what's inside. Woo! And unfortunately this is not see-through, so you're not going to be able to see where the water is unless I tipped it or moved my camera, but you can't even see it there. Oh, there it is. Let me show you where it is if I'm looking from the inside of it. It goes up to here, where my finger is at. Right here. So we can conclude that a liter is not 1 gallon. It's like about a half of a gallon. Okay, So, whoops, let me put this back in here. Now, this unit of measurement, the liter, is showing us the capacity of a container. Capacity means how much a container can hold of something. In this case, it's how much water can this container hold. Now, the next thing that we're going to be focused on, actually, before I jump ahead to that, you can find liters in a lot of different containers. You might be thinking of, hey, I've seen a liter in a big container of soda. Usually those really big ones are 2 liters, like a root beer or Sprite or something. I unfortunately don't really like soda, so I don't have any at my house. But you will find liters all over the place in the stores. Sometimes you'll find a container that's like this tall and it might be filled with hot sauce or soy sauce or honey. And you will see on the package how much it has the capacity to hold. So that's the unit of measurement that we're looking at today. It's liters, and it's how much it can contain inside of it. The next type of measurement that we want to look at today is how heavy an object is. So how heavy do you think this is? When we're working with liters, right here, we usually want to measure the weight of it in something called a gram. So there are 2 types of measurements for weight that we're going to look at today. The first is the gram, and the second is the kilogram. Now this right here, this liter, is actually the same amount as 1 kilogram. Now let's look at what kilograms are. I have for us a little chart of the difference between 1 gram and a kilogram. Let's see if you can see what I have here. Okay, so might need to move my camera. So here we have a tiny paper clip that I drew. Now this paper clip is, if we weighed it like on a scale, it would be the same as 1 gram. So a gram is really small. Paper clips are super light. It's kind of like weighing a feather. A feather doesn't really weigh that much. So the unit of measurement that we use is called a gram for something that's really small. Another example I have is this tiny little shell. I guess this is a shell. It's a sand dollar, and it's very light. So I would want to measure this in grams. Another tiny thing that I have that I could measure in grams would be this pencil sharpener. It's really light also. Another thing that I could measure is this tiny little teapot. Look how small it is. It's super light, right? You wouldn't be able to fill too much water in that. You wouldn't have a very big capacity for a lot of water in there. So those things we would want to measure in grams. Grams are used to measure tiny things or things that don't weigh that much. The kilogram is used to measure bigger things, like a heavy book. And 1 kilogram is, remember, 1 kilogram is the same as 1 liter. So this amount of water weighs the same amount as like a heavy book, or 1 kilogram. Now the trick to remember, and I want you to memorize this, so if you need to pause the video to remember it, then do so. But the trick to remember is that 1,000 grams, or 1,000 paper clips, the same amount of that, 1,000 grams is the same as 1 kilogram. Okay? 1,000 grams equals 1 kilogram. If you were to pile up 1,000 paper clips, that would be the same weight as 1 heavy book. Or if you were to pile up 1,000 sand dollars that are itty bitty, that would be the same weight as a heavy book. Or that might be the same weight as the liter. Okay? So this is what you need to remember. 1,000 grams equals 1 kilogram. Now what we're going to do today is think about some objects that we could measure in grams? And then what type of objects would we want to measure in kilograms? So remember, small are for grams, big and heavy are for kilograms. Let's look at this glass. This glass, it's empty, right? And we know that about 1/4 of this water would fill up this glass. So if this is 1 kilogram, this is empty, it doesn't even have any water in it. So this is a lot lighter than 1 kilogram. So we would probably measure the weight of this empty glass in grams. You could think about your pencil or your marker. These together don't weigh very much, so I could weigh this in grams. You might think about a bowl of cereal. If you poured a bowl of cereal without any milk in it, that isn't very heavy if you have a plastic bowl. So that would probably be measured in grams also. If you grabbed your tennis shoes and a couple weights, that would be heavy. Your tennis shoes and your weights. That would be measured in kilograms. So any objects that are heavier than a heavy book will be measured in kilograms, and any objects that are lighter than a heavy book would be measured in grams. So today what you guys are going to be doing is figuring out different pictures that in your worksheet, figuring out if they are measured in kilograms or in grams. And you're also going to be deciding if a unit or if a container would be the amount of a liter or less than a liter. So one of the things that you're going to see, I'm going to draw something really quickly, in your work text today is a scale. And a scale is something that we use to actually measure how heavy something is. So one of the pictures that you will see on your work text is a picture of a scale that has 1 gram cube on one side and it has a feather on the other. I am not very good at drawing feathers, so don't mind this ugly picture. Now notice that the scale is not tipping. So that means the feather weighs the exact same amount as 1 gram. If you put a paper clip here instead, that scale would also be level. The paper clip, oh boy, I'm not very good at drawing a paper clip off the top of my head. The paper clip, boing, would also have a steady scale because they're about the same amount. But if you put a 1 kilogram weight on one side, let me erase the entire thing. If you put 1 kilogram or a heavy book like that on one side of the scale, let's see how I can draw this. Oh boy. Your scale's gonna tip because this guy is so much heavier than a tiny little paper clip, and your scale will go down. This means that this side is heavy and this side is light, kind of like a seesaw. If a really strong person got on one end of the seesaw, they'd go down, and if you weigh just a tiny amount, you'd go flying high, right, compared to a really big macho guy. So that's what you're going to be using today to decide if different objects are measured in grams or kilograms. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys, and you may begin your assignment now. So good luck.